Pleased to welcome now Captain Criss Turnipseed. He's the director of the Mississippi Highway Patrol Public Affairs Division. Captain, good to see you, sir. Looks like you're out and about on the Mississippi highways today.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Gerard. Good to see you, too. Yeah, it's a busy Tuesday. I'm starting to think that maybe some folks stayed an extra day on Labor Day this weekend and coming back on Tuesday. There's a lot of traffic out here today.
Well, that's the
For
first
this time of day. It's a lunch period. It's a lunch period. Maybe people are going to get lunch, but my goodness, there's a lot of cars out today.
Well, that's a question I had with gas prices moderating somewhat over the past couple of years. Did you see an uptick in the traffic on Mississippi highways?
About the same as you can expect for a holiday weekend. I mean, it was a ball game weekend this weekend, so of course it's going to be an uptick on that. People going. We played. I think Ole Miss played at home. Maybe State played down at Southern, so it was Mississippi.
Right.
A lot of Mississippi traffic due to that. I don't know if that's Labor Day or that's just due to people going out and supporting their teams. But yeah, it was definitely an uptick in traffic this weekend. Considering all, wasn't a perfect weekend. We did have 3 fatal crashes over the holiday period, but a lot better than we had last Labor Day. Last Labor Day, I believe we had 7 fatal crashes. So, I mean, that number's not 0, we're not happy with it. So,
sure,
we always shoot for that. You got to have a goal, but you do the best you can, Gerard.
Captain, can you share with us what at this point appears to be the cause of those crashes, so that people can be aware and adjust their driving habits appropriately?
I have not seen the accident report, so I don't really have what the contributing circumstances are. I think most of them were, it's hard to say, one call. We had one that was a 2-vehicle crash involving a motorcycle. And the others were single vehicle crashes, I believe. We'll have to go back and look at them. But I mean, if I had the crash reports right here in front of me, I could probably tell you that it's probably one of a few things: too much speed, fail to yield, following too closely. It's usually the usual suspects when it comes to crashes. Gerard, there's really nobody's pioneered a new way to have a crash. It's usually the same thing all the time, and that's why our message stays consistent. We'll buckle up, don't drive impaired, don't drive distracted, and slow down. It's just a common reoccurring theme, time after time after time, in most of our car crashes. So there's nothing special here. Just pay attention while you're out there driving, and take your time. Don't get in a hurry. And if you can do those few things, your chances are you're going to make it to your destination.
Yeah, absolutely. Good message. So you mentioned motorcycle, Captain, and it kind of triggered this to me. It's not unusual to see motorcycles on our highways, and particularly here in the capital city on I-55, just absolutely screaming at a speed that's beyond belief. Zooming past everybody and weaving in and out of traffic. And it just seems like the slightest little interference on the road there could be catastrophic. What should we as motorists do, Captain, when we witness that? I mean, I've been known to call the highway patrol before when I see one of these motorcycles going up 55 there, especially right past the stack. It seems like they're doing 150 miles an hour. I mean, I feel like I'm standing still when they're going by me. And I've called the highway patrol before, and I've seen, highway patrol trooper vehicles come out on the roads. If it's happened in my town or in a city, I've called local law enforcement. What should we do?
Well, that is one of those things that's kind of, you do the right thing. Of course, you can call it in. Those are not the easiest situations, especially when somebody's traveling that fast, depending on where the closest unit is. If they're driving that fast, and unless you're able to keep eye contact on them and kind of navigate the officer to where that person is going, they jump on and jump off the roadways. Sometimes you catch them, sometimes you don't. Sometimes they wind up in a crash and we catch them that way, or the coroner catches them pretty much. I mean, it's a hard situation to deal with, Gerard, and you just gotta, it's common sense sometimes on a motorcycle. I'm a motorcycle guy myself. I ride bikes. I'm not a sport bike guy, and there's a million ways to die out there in a car, and especially on a motorcycle. I try to be as safe as I can. But folks, individuals like that, you just got to do the best you can. Yeah, you can call it in, and hopefully there's a trooper or a policeman, depending on what the jurisdiction is in the area. Those are usually the ones that give us the biggest problem with trying to evade law enforcement. And you've got to weigh the weight of the speeding versus possibly, ending up in a pursuit where somebody gets killed or somebody innocent, not even involved in the crash, could get hurt. And you just got to do the best you can with them. There's no way to regulate. I mean, it's a hard situation to navigate on those. We do the best we can. We've caught a lot of them. Back when I was a road guy, I got in caught some sport bikes, some fast motorcycle adventure riders, I guess you would call it, and everything went the right way, and made an arrest for reckless driving, so on and so forth, or evading pursuit. But you do the best you can with them, and you as a motorist, you got to keep your eyes peeled and just watch at all times. Not just you're driving, but you got to be mindful of other people, not just motorcycles, but other cars as too. You take your life in your hands every time you get on a roadway, and that's just the truth of it. And that's why you got to do the best you can to protect yourself and pay attention, wear your seatbelt, and hopefully you don't encounter somebody out there doing what you were talking about, running 150 down the interstate. We could catch them. We would, and we will try to the best of our ability, but sometimes that's easier said than done, just given manpower and just the time to respond and where somebody could be by the time where they could actually be by the time we're able to get to the scene. It's a tricky situation to say all that, just to tell you that, I guess.
It just seems like it's more frequent that I encounter these situations, and sometimes they're on one wheel, as you know. Driving at a high rate of speed as well, or rearing up, or whatever the case may be, and man, they come out of nowhere, and you don't even literally like, wow, what was that? It's just a blur that goes by it, and you maybe think of it when you mention motorcycle, but I witnessed it literally last Friday, in that same area where it seems to happen, kind of around the Lakeland Drive, I-55 area, that between there and Briarwood. It's unbelievable how fast they go through there. We're fortunate we don't have more accidents as a result of that, but still, though, I think it's a matter of time when something like that causes a big old problem. And I certainly realize that when I call it in, they may or may not be able to catch them, to run them down, because, as you said, they'll exit the road. Maybe there's law enforcement that's nearby that they can dispatch, but if they have to get there, by the time they get there, they're gone. They're out, especially traveling at that rate of speed. I certainly get that, but there's always a chance, and that's why I will typically call it in.
Definitely always call it in. We'll do everything we can to get there, and depending on where it is, if it's inside their Jackson, that would fall within their jurisdiction. But interstates, anywhere else outside, if we got somebody around, we'll do the best we can to get there, and hopefully justice will prevail. It's hard to make promises that that's going to happen just because of the situation of it. But we're definitely, when you call in, we're going to give serious attention to whatever the concern is there, and do everything we can to get control of it.
And that's been my experience. It's thank you that we'll get somebody on it. Boom, we end the conversation, and hopefully that has an effect. And I will say, I have then gone on up the road and seen them pulled over by law enforcement, which means that either they saw it and they did it, or perhaps my call was a catalyst. Or
it could have been just divine intervention there, Gerard.
Exactly, and that's fine. So I always got to ask you, how do we do with respect to the seat belts over the weekend?
Well, my favorite category, why we push it so hard every holiday weekend. We didn't write but about 617 restraint tickets over the weekend. No, the numbers were actually down a little bit over 100 from last year. So
okay, 617.
I mean, 617 people out of the people out there on the road that we actually did catch. And that's a drop in the bucket compared to how many there probably were. But I mean, that's just that's 101 basic driver's education right there. Wear your seatbelt. But we're gonna keep pushing that message. We're gonna keep hammering that message down. Hopefully, one day, maybe before my time's over. I don't know if I have enough time. We can get that down to in the double digits at least. But I don't know, Gerard. I don't have a lot of faith in that.
Appreciate you calling in as always, Captain Criss Turnipseed, Director of the Mississippi Highway Patrol Public Affairs. Thank you, Captain. Thank you and all the state troopers.
Thanks, Gerard, for all y'all support out there. Y'all drive safe and be careful, and we'll catch you on the next holiday period.
Yes, sir.